When your cat flicks their tail, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Most people think it's just irritation or excitement. Maybe your cat saw a bird outside the window or got annoyed for a second. But behind that simple tail movement, there's something deeper that most owners completely miss. It's one of the most emotionally loaded ways your cat communicates. And if you misunderstand it, which most owners do, you might keep pushing your cat in moments when they're actually trying to warn you, trust you, or emotionally connect with you. Let's start with what tail flicking really means. 1. The tail flick isn't random at all. Have you ever been petting your cat? Everything seems calm, and suddenly their tail starts flicking back and forth. Most people assume the cat is angry. But here's what's actually happening. That tail movement is often your cat's emotional pressure valve. Cats don't communicate tension the way humans do. They don't sigh dramatically or explain how they feel. Their tail becomes the outlet. Behavioral scientists who study feline body language have observed that tail flicking often appears during moments of emotional conflict. Your cat may enjoy being close to you while also becoming overstimulated at the exact same time. That's why some cats purr while flicking their tails. And this is where most owners get it wrong. They think purring always means keep going. So they continue petting, continue touching, continue invading the moment. Meanwhile, the tail is saying something entirely different. I'm reaching my limit. Think about that for a second. Your cat is trying to communicate before they bite, scratch, or walk away. The tail flick is restraint. It's your cat attempting to avoid escalation. And, by the way, if your cat ever suddenly stops flicking their tail altogether during interactions that used to excite them, don't brush it off. We'll get to what that really means later, and it's something most owners wish they understood sooner. 2. Your cat's tail is connected to their nervous system. Here's what most people don't realize. Your cat's tail isn't just expressive, it's neurologically tied to their emotional state. A 2019 study from the University of Lincoln examining feline behavior found that cats consistently use subtle body signals to regulate social interactions long before obvious aggression appears. In other words, the tail flick comes before the problem. And emotionally, that matters, because it means your cat is trying to stay connected to you while still protecting their boundaries. Have you ever noticed your cat lying beside you peacefully, tail gently twitching while completely relaxed otherwise? Most owners assume nothing important is happening. But here's what's actually happening. Your cat's brain is processing stimulation in real time. Sounds, movement, your touch, your presence. Cats are hyper-aware animals. Their nervous systems evolved for survival. Even in a safe home, that sensitivity never disappears. Researchers who study animal cognition describe cats as constant environmental monitors. They remain alert even during affection. So when your cat flicks their tail while staying beside you instead of leaving, that's significant. They're choosing connection despite their instinct to remain guarded. What makes this even more meaningful is that many cats only show this level of vulnerable emotional regulation around people they deeply trust. Not because they're comfortable, because they feel safe enough to stay. 3. Sometimes your cat is literally marking you as family. Have you ever noticed your cat wrapping their tail around your arm or brushing it against you repeatedly? Most people think it's accidental. Here's what's actually happening. Cats have scent glands all over their bodies, especially near the base of the tail. When they rub against you or deliberately move their tail across you, they're often leaving behind pheromones, invisible scent markers. To humans, they mean nothing. To cats, they mean everything. Studies on domestic cats reveal that scent sharing is one of the strongest forms of social bonding in feline groups. Cats who trust each other exchange scent constantly. It creates a shared group identity, a family scent. So when your cat flicks or wraps their tail against you after rubbing their body on you, they may be reinforcing that bond. They're blending you into their emotional territory. Not ownership in a controlling sense. Belonging. Think about that for a second. Your cat doesn't use words. They use scent, touch, and body language to say, "You're part of my safe world." And here's where it gets even more powerful. Cats only create these scent bonds intentionally. In the wild, scent familiarity reduces conflict and increases survival. It tells the nervous system, this being is trusted. So the next time your cat brushes their tail against you softly, before settling nearby, remember, that tiny movement may actually be your cat saying, "You're one of mine." And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. 4. Tail flicking. Started as a survival instinct. Here's what most people don't realize. Tail communication existed long before cats ever lived with humans. Wild cats use tail signals to communicate emotional tension silently during hunting, territory disputes, and interactions with kittens. A mother cat, for example, often uses subtle tail movements to guide or warn her babies without making noise that could attract predators. That instinct still exists inside your cat today. A 2021 Feline Behavioral Review, published by researchers studying domestic cat evolution, found that many social signals cats use with humans are adaptations of behaviors first used between mothers and kittens. And emotionally, that changes everything. Because it means some tail flicks aren't aggression at all. They're deeply instinctive emotional communication. Have you ever seen your cat lying near you while half asleep, tail twitching gently every few seconds? That's often not annoyance. It's residual awareness, a survival reflex that says, "I trust this space enough to rest, but I'm still monitoring the environment." And the incredible part is this: your cat chooses to relax that instinct around you more than around most things in their life. That's not small. That's thousands of years of survival wiring slowly lowering its guard in your presence. 5. They don't tail flick like this. Around everyone. Have you ever noticed your cat behaves completely differently with other people? Maybe they barely react to guests. Maybe their tail stays stiff or still. But with you, it flicks constantly during play, affection, or quiet moments together. Most people overlook that difference. But here's what's actually happening. Cats are selective communicators. Unlike dogs, they don't automatically express themselves openly with everyone around them. Their emotional language becomes more layered with people they trust deeply. Behavioral scientists have observed that cats reserve many subtle social signals for preferred humans, including tail communication. That means your cat may literally be more emotionally expressive with you than with anyone else in the house. Think about that for a second. The flicking tail during cuddles, the slow, sweeping movement while watching you, the quick twitch when you stop petting too suddenly. Those are relational responses. Your cat is emotionally reacting to you specifically. And here's where it gets even more meaningful. Cats don't waste energy on vulnerable communication with people they don't trust. If your cat constantly communicates through their tail around you, they're not shutting you out. They're involving you in their emotional world. 6. The tail flick can be a sign of emotional trust. Remember earlier when I said some owners regret ignoring changes in tail behavior? This is what I was talking about. One of the deepest things most cat owners never realize is that emotionally secure cats communicate more, not less. A cat who trusts you enough to flick their tail openly, signal overstimulation, show emotional conflict, or react visibly around you is exposing their internal state. That's vulnerability. Many cats hide discomfort completely when they feel unsafe. They become silent, frozen, emotionally unreadable. But trusted humans get access to the signals, including the tail. Animal cognition research shows that cats actively modify communication depending on how safe they feel with specific people. The safer the bond, the more expressive the cat becomes. So when your cat flicks their tail while staying close instead of walking away, they're doing something incredibly important. They're trusting you to understand the signal, not punish it, not ignore it, understand it. And that changes the relationship completely, because now the tail flick stops being bad behavior. It becomes conversation. 7. When the tail suddenly goes quiet. And finally, here's the warning most owners never hear. If your cat suddenly stops using tail communication the way they normally do, pay attention. A cat who once flicked their tail during play but now stays completely still. A cat who used to react emotionally around you but suddenly seems withdrawn. That can signal stress, illness, emotional shutdown, or discomfort. This is where most owners get it wrong. They assume a quieter cat means a calmer cat, but sometimes it means the opposite. Cats often become less expressive when they stop feeling emotionally safe or physically well, so don't ignore the absence of communication. Notice it. Respond gently. Give them space. Observe changes. Watch for other behavioral shifts.